Well, good Sunday afternoon, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday afternoon. I'm doing what I always do, which is trying to get ahead. And I appreciate you guys spending the time here with me while I do my thing. Um, I am just a guy who loves the Dallas Cowboys. And I give you guys my opinions on what I think will help the Dallas Cowboys hopefully get their stuff together. In order to win in football, you got to do a couple of things. You got to be able to win in your division, which is key. That is the key thing that you need to do. You take a look at, Green Bay, of course, which was the number one seed. They dominated in their division. Although, unlike what they tell you about the Dallas Cowboys and the NFC East being the NFC least, it's my contention that, quite frankly, the NFC North is just as bad, if not worse, than the Cowboys. At least we had the Eagles as a playoff team, but they didn't have but one team over 500 in their division. At least we had two playoff teams. And I could say the NFC South only had one playoff team as well. So I don't know how you can say that those divisions are so much head and shoulders above the Dallas Cowboys, but be that as it may, we know how that rolls. So here we get less than 3 weeks away from the draft. And of course, the Cowboys right now are scrambling. They're scrambling for a wide receiver after messing up. They literally messed up. Hold on a second. All right, so first thing we got to do is we got to be able to take care of our division. Now, the problem, of course, with this is in the NFC East, nobody has repeated since the 2003-2004 season. That's a long time. And, basically, of course, when you win the division, you end up having a tougher schedule. You've got that first place schedule that you have to now deal with. The second issue, of course, is you end up having worse draft picks. You're not the king of the crop of getting great draft picks. And the third issue is people want the parts that you have that worked well for you. So you start losing coaches, you start losing players and everything else, and that's why it's hard to repeat. For the Cowboys, they were actually able to bring back a lot of the pieces that they had, with the exception of Amari Cooper and Randy Gregory and Cedric Wilson. I look at that and say that those are big losses, but that's not as bad as it could be. But if we're talking about finding a way for the Cowboys to repeat, you have to look at your competition in the division and plan on building to compete against them. That's the thing you have to look at. I'm going to say the team I fear the most is the Philadelphia Eagles. Washington, of course, they think they've struck gold, that they've got Carson Wentz, and, there's a revisionist history that Carson Wentz is, a great quarterback and this, that, and the other. Carson Wentz is a turnover machine. And Washington has a way of having tragedy follow them when it comes to quarterbacks. It doesn't matter if you've been to the Super Bowl or not. If you're a Donovan McNabb who did go to a Super Bowl with the Eagles, it doesn't matter if you were a number one pick like an Alex Smith, Doesn't matter if you are actually picked by the Washington football team where they used 3 number ones. Doesn't matter if you're a journeyman quarterback who started for more teams than anybody else. You can't get past one game. This is the reality of the Washington football team, and I'm not scared of the Washington football team. That's just me. I could be wrong, but I'm not scared of the Washington football team. The Eagles, the Giants, they got no money. They have everything. Everything's got to be rebuilt to that team. I'm not scared of the Giants either. That leaves the Eagles. The Eagles are the team that I worry about the most. I'll be 100% honest. I mean, they're a playoff team. You know, they've got some good players. They got a lot of draft picks and things. So the Dallas Cowboys, if their design is we must win the division first and foremost before anything else, then you have to look at what the Eagles do the best and take it away. And here's what the Eagles do great. At least they did last year. They were the number 1 rushing team in the NFL. They ran the football better than anybody else in the National Football League. So, of course, you want to take away what they do best. And you can look at the rest of the division and say Washington is a team that likes to run the football. And with Barkley, that the Giants are a team that wants to be able to run the football. So, where do you go in the draft? Well, to me, the Cowboys need help on both sides of the line. You've got to get a guard. By hook or by crook, through second wave of free agency, you need an outstanding offensive guard. But on the flip side of this, you have to look at the Dallas Cowboys' biggest weakness, which is the Eagles' biggest strength, which is stopping the run versus the Eagles being able to run the football. And this is for me, and again, I know the Cowboys won't do it because they don't believe in defensive tackles at being a priority. They're the more sizzle than substance guys. They would rather go ahead and get a wide receiver in that first round that'll sell jerseys than actually looking and saying that a Russell Maryland or a Leon Lett are guys that help to win championships. For me, in that top 3 pick, and if they pick a wide receiver, I'm okay with that. But if the Cowboys go and get themselves a wide receiver in the first round, they have to, in the second round, get a guard or a run-stopping defensive tackle. Just the way it is. And for me, my philosophy on the draft is drafting where others aren't. And by that I mean, in the first round early, left tackles, boom. Edge rushers, boom. Dominant wide receivers, boom. Dominant cornerbacks, boom. By the time the Cowboys pick, you can probably say that 3 or 4 of each of those positions will be picked. Interior defensive linemen, not so much. Offensive guards, not so much. You could conceivably, and I don't think Jordan Davis would be there, but see, Jordan Davis is a guy that I look at and say, if you want to compete with the Eagles, if you want to go ahead and try and repeat in the division, if you want to say, we're going to take away the biggest strength that the Eagles have and punish them, if you have the opportunity to get Jordan Davis, that's the pick you got to make. But with this draft, there are a lot of linemen, even in the second round, because guard is not as coveted as left tackle, edge rusher, wide receiver, and quarterback. In the second round, you could probably get the third best offensive guard prospect So yeah, if you want to stop the Eagles and repeat, got to look at that run stopping ability. And if you don't look at it in the draft, then by all means, you must look at it in free agency in the second level. So that's what I got to say about that. Hopefully, the Cowboys do something about that. And in the meantime, I've got more pieces here I got to get going to painting. I'm Mark Holmes, and I see you guys in less than 2 hours. Yeah, less than 2 hours for our live stream. Peace.